Hi friends, it's Liz here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I thought I would come and share a quick project that I recently finished. I wanted to use up some of my scraps that I had been gathering from previous projects, and I wanted to make something out of it. So I started to kind of come up with this little folio. I've reused a lot of pieces, and I also use some of my favorite tools, which I already have, and I always like to kind of use them as much as possible. So I'm going to show you what I did, and I hope you find some inspiration. So the first thing I did is I wanted to do like a small little folio, just something that I can gather some ephemera, that sort of thing. And you'll see here that I have so many different pieces that I combined. So the first thing I did is I reused some, I guess they're called the negatives from cutting dies. So these numbers here that I had from getting some projects ready, and I had these negatives left, which is those strips that are left over after you've done some die cutting. So I gathered some of these and I just kind of started sprinkling them throughout. So on the cover, I just added a couple of the pieces. I used one of my favorite little tools. I love this little sewing, I forgot what it's called, but I will link it below, something similar if I can find it on Amazon. And it just gives you these really cute little kind of like stitch lines on paper, which are super cute. I've seen many people use this, and so of course I always like to add a little bit of that when I can. The next thing I added was this little kind of like I said, pieces that I had left over. Like this part here on the left is from an embossing paper that I had. So I embossed some paper. This came out and I saved the scraps, and now I'm using it in this project, as well as you can see just some tore up paper pieces, etc. I think one of these pieces actually is a leftover from my free printable on coffee, and I will link that below if you haven't seen it. I added a little tag here with this cute little pocket. I will link those below. I think there's some on Amazon as well. They're super fun to use, and I just love spreading those across my projects. So the next thing I did is I just grabbed again more scraps, but this one I had left over from doing a tutorial that I've shown you before, and it's these cute little interactive pockets. So I had one left over. I decided to add it to this project. I will link that tutorial below if you haven't seen it and you want to learn how to make one. Here's a scrap from one of my printables with a piece of paper scrap that actually had already tape on it, and I didn't want to throw it out. And you can see just how I've layered different elements. This I'll show you a little bit at the end how I've made those stickers, like fake stickers. And then I use some of these little pieces that I have previously cut out. I kind of save everything and put it aside just, when I'm going to use it. So I had some left over from a project and I thought I would use it here. As well, I've used my new and favorite stamp set. I will link that below. My friend Tammy was kind enough to help me find it. And so I am so excited to be using it, my friends. It's from Creative Expressions. And so it's a stamp set that is from Sampool. Now it's all these different little numbers and phrases. It's called Dates from the Past. I will link that below if you haven't, if you don't know where to find it, or if you want to get details on what it's called and everything. So I have stamps, of course, and so I wanted to use some of my stamps. And I've been using that a lot lately. And then I had some pieces again left over. I think it's packing paper. This label I had received in a swap. I was cutting out this kind of calendar that I no longer use. So as you can see, I just use some of the pieces to add a little bit of just, texture. I wanted to make these cute little cuts that I've been doing with this little staple-less stapler. So there are no staples. It's a 3-in-1. And I just love adding it to, different papers and just giving it a different look. On the top here, you'll see I've got a little pocket. And then this pocket, if you don't know, I've made it out of an envelope. And then I've used some leftover scraps from my Digital Collage Club favorite printable. I will link that one below. It's one of my favorites that I use often. So, of course, I always have scraps. And I don't know if you noticed, the way I kind of closed that little pocket is I used the other staple-less stapler. So it doesn't have staples. And it leaves a mark that looks like you've stitched on it. Absolutely love it. You can see that there. So that's the stitch that kind of shows up on paper, and I love it. So anyways, that's how I sealed the bottom of this pocket here so that I can tuck things in. And then I've made another little tuck spot with leftover bits, as you can see, leftover coffee stained paper for a little bit of journaling. Another piece of leftover paper that I just kind of tucked in there that's coffee stained. And you can just see how I repurposed that envelope just to make some pockets, and this little flip out here with the packaging. That again is part of my free printable. I believe I have like washi sticker style printables, and I will link those below if you haven't seen it. Now this is fun. I just did the layers of paper, leftover scraps of course. And then I made a little tuck spot, again, leftover pieces from previous projects. I just wanted to combine them. This again is that paper from Digital Collage Club that I absolutely love. I think it's very like Tim Holtzy. Now this reusable clip, it's like a paper clip. It comes from this little tool, and I love it because I can completely take that clip off and reuse it again. So I have found similar ones on Amazon, and I'll link those below if you're interested, but it is one of my favorite ones. I did get that one from Stationery Pal, and I do have affiliate links in the description box below with coupons for you if you wanted to get anything. Now I did another flip out here. And then here I just added some more tuck spots. I, used some of my die cuts there. I made that from cutting up a piece of a leftover, again, scrap, the little black area there. And then here I made a little envelope out of half of a printable that I have here. I'm working on some new printables, so I'm testing them out. So it's a tiny little envelope there. And then on this side again, I reused a lot of pieces. I made it into a little pocket, that little die cut negative as well. You can see there's a tuck there, and then there's a little tuck in the back. And again, that's just repurposed from cutting my die cuts. So things like this that are cut out, they leave these little pieces. And this again is from that Tim Holtz collection that I showed you that I absolutely love. And then these were leftover bits that I cut out of scraps again. I had quite a few of those. And then here in the back, I added a pocket and then more ephemera. So you can see how quick and easy this is to put together. You gather your supplies, use any cardstock or scrapbook that you have left over. If you want, I could make a video showing you how I put it together, but I figure just by kind of talking you through what I've done. I used this file folder piece that I had. Absolutely love the different color on either side. So it's like green, but it's darker on the inside than on the outside. So I decided to use a piece of it to make this little flip out folio. And then, of course, the supplies that I'm showing you that I used, I will link all those below. And then I have a little tip for you. I like to make some stickers using those address labels, and you can get those at a dollar store. I'll link some below as well if I on Amazon if I find some, but they're pretty inexpensive. This is actually from my printable. So I printed this from one of my printables, and I did it on this label sheet, which now gives me a bunch of little sticker-like labels, as you can see here. And then I can use this in any project. So I've got this beautiful collaged piece that I can just add to anything I want to later. And you can see how fun it is. You can use any of your printables, or of course you can use mine, and you print them on these address labels, and now you've got your own little sticker. So I think I've shown you similar things like this before, but in case you don't remember or you didn't see it, I wanted to remind you. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you want to see a tutorial, let me know. Leave a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll be coming back very soon to show you some more ideas. I hope you get inspired to create, and check out my playlist. I have lots of tutorials, craft with me videos, and I love to share my projects with you. Thanks so much for stopping by.